We all make mistakes. Even the best photographers with many years of experience sometimes mess up. And there's nothing worse than having shot some incredible photos from a beautiful location or images from traveling that hold an important memory and realizing that you messed up. Luckily, Luminar Neo has some amazing tools that can help us fix those mistakes. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can use Luminar Neo to help you save those images that would have otherwise been trash. As careful as you may be, if you ever change lenses out in the field or even at home, chances are you'll probably get some dust on your sensor at one point or another. Now, in some cases, it can really get quite bad, like in this photo right here. Especially when your image has a grayish, cloudy sky like this one, all of those dust spots are really going to show, and it's very, very bad in this shot specifically. You can only imagine how time-consuming it would be to get rid of all of these. And what if you would have 10 of these photos, 20 of these photos, 100? It would be a nightmare. And yes, of course, it would have been better if I would have cleaned my sensor before going out to shoot that morning, but that's what this video is about. We all make mistakes, so let's see if we can fix this one. In Luminar Neo, if you go to the erase tool here, there's a button here that says remove dust spots. And this will analyze the photo and automatically with one click remove all the dust spots. So let's see how it does on this monstrosity. Okay, wow, that's pretty amazing. It really just got rid of all this dirt in just one click. So let's have a look at the before and after. Yeah, this is now a usable image again after just one click. Another thing that can be really unpleasant in a photo and that can sometimes even really mess up a photo is disturbing power lines. Luckily, Luminar Neo has a specific tool to deal with just that. You might have noticed that it says remove power lines here. Could be really handy if this works with one click. If you've ever removed power lines in Photoshop, you know what a tedious task this can be. So I have two images I want to try this on. One is a bit more complicated than the other, so let's see how it does. So in this photo, one of the power lines almost touches the top of the mountain, so that could be tricky. Let's hit remove power lines and see what happens. And that's pretty good, right? Let's zoom into that mountain where it was almost hitting. And yep, I think that looks pretty good. All right, let's try another one. This shot here from the streets of San Miguel de Allende in Mexico. There's some pretty ugly power lines ruining the sky of this image. So let's hit remove power lines and see how it does. Now I'm guessing it won't be able to do this one in one click. And yeah, all right, it actually did a much better job than I thought, but it just missed a few spots here and there. But we can easily fix that with the eraser brush. So I'll just brush over these areas like so, and then hit the erase button, and it will get rid of those. And that's it. So not quite with one click, but definitely a lot easier than having to do this with something like Photoshop. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure a lot of you have been in a similar situation. Perfect scene, perfect composition, everything looks great, but you're shooting handheld and your shutter speed is just a little bit too slow, your hand is a little bit shaky, and you just missed focus and the image is a little bit soft. So that's it. You messed up. It's gone. It's for the trash. You can't use it. Or not. So this rolling shot of a Mustang GT was taken at 1/30th of a second, and it's definitely not an easy job to keep your camera still while hanging outside the window of a car. Either way, it looks great, but if I zoom in a bit, you can tell that it's not actually sharp. Especially look at the front badge here, the headlights, and the lines on the hood or on the sides here. Now, luckily, Luminar Neo has this Supersharp AI tool, which will essentially read the photo and try to understand its depth and perspective so that it can deblur it and create a naturally sharp looking photo. So in the Supersharp AI tool, I can choose either universal or motion, and I'm just going to go with universal first and then select the middle option. And then Luminar's AI will analyze the image and figure out how to sharpen it. Okay, wow, look at that. That just looks crazy. Let me just turn that off and on. Off and on. Look at how these lines are all sharp instead of blurry. Even here on the side of the car and the front logo. Okay, that's done a pretty good job. Now, this obviously doesn't mean that you shouldn't care about capturing photos that are sharp and in focus. Even though that this tool is really good at recovering out of focus images, nothing's going to beat the quality of a photo that was captured with pin sharp focus. By the way, if you want to download these extensions, you can click on extras on the top here, and this is going to open up a window where you can choose to install all the different extensions. If you don't have Luminar Neo yet, I will leave a link in the description with a nice 10% discount code. Another thing that's best to be avoided when you're out photographing is using a very high ISO, because as we all know, that will result in a noisy and unclean image. Now, it's easier said than done, so luckily there's a lot of software and tools out there that can help us recover those noisy high ISO images. And Luminar Neo also has an AI denoise tool called Noiseless AI. You can see it right here under the extensions, and let's try it out on this nighttime shot of the streets of Kyoto. This was shot at ISO 2500, and honestly it was also quite underexposed, so that produced a good amount of noise in this image, as you can see right here on the temple and also on the buildings in the street. So it's pretty bad and it kind of ruins the photo. So let's see if Luminar Neo can fix this one. So when I open the Noiseless AI tool, Luminar advises me to use the middle adjustment for this image. So let's follow its advice and click on middle. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's have a look at the tower and turn off Noiseless AI and back on. Okay, yeah, that's really cleaned up the image nicely. And if we look at the buildings on the street here, yep, it got rid of a lot of the noise, but at the same time, it did a pretty good job at preserving the detail. So I'm really happy with that because now this is a usable photo again. The last thing I want to show you is just a fantastic tool that I think you guys are really gonna love. So this tool allows you to enlarge your photos and basically increase their resolution by adding more pixels to it. So this is great for photos that you might have shot on older, lower resolution cameras, or if maybe by accident you shot in small JPEGs. Oops. But where I think I will use it the most is when resizing cropped images. Because when you crop an image, you're actually deleting pixels and resulting in a smaller file. And if you, for example, still want to print that photo at larger scale, you need to add pixels to that again and increase the resolution. So in Luminar Neo, when I'm in my image catalog here, I can select this image I want to upscale. And you can see here, this is a 1673 by 1673 JPEG file. So it's a pretty drastic crop from the 4000 by 6000 RAW file. But the bird was really far away, so I really wanted to crop in to get a nicer frame. Alright, so I'm going to drag this image to the upscale tool here, and then it gives me the option to either 2 times, 4 times, or 6 times upscale it. So I'm going to go big here and straight away try to 6 times upscale. And then Luminar Neo creates a new file in the upscale folder here. And let's have a look. Okay, wow, now it's 10,038 by 10,038. That's crazy. Let's zoom in a bit to check the quality. Yeah, I think that looks really good. I'll just put the original and the upscaled version side by side on the screen so you can see what a good job it did. And I think it doesn't look too sharpened or too over-processed. So those are some incredible functions inside of Luminar Neo that can help you to recover images that you might have thought were for the trash. Now, the cool thing about Luminar Neo is that they're constantly upgrading their software, adding new features and improving its functionality. They already have a bunch of handy features available now, and as you can tell, they have a lot more coming. Some of the stuff that you can do in Luminar Neo is actually pretty amazing, and it just makes a lot of editing tasks a lot easier. Anyway, if you want to try out Luminar Neo, make sure you use the link and the discount code in the description to get 10% off an annual subscription. Alright, that's it for me. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you learned something in this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!